This Hangout on Air is live. I say that every week. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Indie Team Up podcast, episode 10, the podcast where we talk about the games and projects that we're working on, as well as a bunch of other topics related to indie game development. I am Carl Gilbertson, and I'm here again with my co-host this week, Colleen Wilson, Justin Hammond, and Sean Dupre. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Good. Good.
Right on. So now that we're rolling along, should we kick things off with a status report on IndieTeamUp.com? Things going in the beta there?
Yeah, let's move right into that. So yeah, we released the beta less than a week ago. It's like 6 days ago now. And the response has been really cool. We've already learned a ton of stuff, found a ton of bugs, fixed a ton of bugs, and done our best to kind of give the set a facelift, as well as fix all the little things that inevitably come up in a beta.
Right.
The users have been giving us tremendous feedback. And we're really stoked about our direction. You want to talk about that, Justin? Kind of how they've been lining up?
Yeah, I mean, we have, like you said, we've gotten a lot of feedback, and several of the requests have been spot on with things that we've already been planning on. And we've actually, Sean just finished up deving out a little roadmap page. If you guys want to hit up IndieTeamUp.com, what is it, /roadmap?
Yep. You can also find it under the company tab.
Yeah. And you can just see briefly, it just kind of lays out, some of the next, I think it's 3 main features that we're planning on deving out. Yeah, so we definitely appreciate all the feedback, and hopefully that feedback will continue to roll in. Indie Team Up is an ever-growing project, so and we're still definitely in the early stages of beta, so yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm just checking out this roadmap page, and all of these features sound awesome. So, yeah, cool. Get on that. Have you guys seen the indie whipping bot on Twitter?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I quickly looked at it.
That's pretty sweet.
I think if you mention it, it'll tweet back at you and
Yeah.
Get back to work, slacker, or stuff.
Yeah.
It's a motivational bot.
Yeah. Do you know who Lucy Morris is?
I don't know who she is personally, but I think I follow her on Twitter, yeah.
Yeah. She's like the one responsible for that, hey? Which is funny because she's like, super nice and stuff on Twitter on her own account, and then Indie Whipping Bot is like super rude all the time in the funniest way possible. Anyways, so Colleen, do you want to talk about your Kickstarter a little bit in your game and how that's kind of shaken out this week?
Oh, yeah. As you know, we canceled it. But that's okay.
Sucks.
We have a lot of plans, and like I said, I was going to try to put it in Unreal Engine and get all the shaders and everything worked out, polish the game.
Mm-hmm.
The game was pretty much a hack job, like the gameplay. Try to get everything done at the specific time.
Right.
So hopefully, maybe in like 6 or 7 months, if the game plays a lot a lot better and a lot more polished, we might try again.
Right. Yeah. Well, at least it's good that you're still working on it. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah. It's just without the money, it's going to be really slow.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Well, I definitely understand that. Just slowness.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it was a learning experience, like if you can honestly say, yeah, I know how to tackle it better next time, then you can at least walk out with some kind of win,
Exactly. We made a lot of different mistakes. We had a lot of people tell us different tips and stuff, and we didn't have. By the time they told us, we were going to release it the next week, and we were already sticking by that schedule. So we didn't do a lot of the promotion and the marketing that we should have done. But it's been a huge learning experience. We got, on magazines and stuff like that we wouldn't have without the Kickstarter. So
yeah, that's good for sure. Getting some press out of it at the very least, right? More people know about your game.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's okay.
Yes, I still have high hopes for your game. I'm sure it will be awesome, and I'm still looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Right on. So, in terms of what I've been working on this week, my game, I don't really have a lot of progress to show in terms of like actual features so much. I've been doing lots of little stuff, little tweaks and polish here and there. Like I mentioned, I think it was last week or the week before that I got some environment asset packs and stuff off of the asset store. So I've just been, incorporating some of that stuff into my game, bringing in some more environment stuff and switching up the skybox and adding this, adding that, just little stuff all over the place. So nothing major, but, little bits of progress here and there. Like I said last week, my latest puzzle is totally finished. So once I get this environment stuff worked out a little bit more, I'll be moving on to puzzle number 3.
Sweet.
And things are coming along. But the one thing I've been working on just in the last couple of days, actually, that is it's kind of a separate project, but it is related to gaming and game development, is it's kind of weird, actually. This goes kind of into Gamergate territory, so I'm sorry, Justin, I'm not going to go there very long, but...
what do you mean, sorry? Why apologize?
I know that, I don't want to just rant on Gamergate every week on this show, and so I'm not going to do that this time. But anyways, someone started a Tumblr blog that was, it's called actuallyethics.tumblr.com. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
So anyways, it's all, basically, for people who haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty funny. It's basically just a meme about...
It's funny if you're anti-Gamergate.
Yeah, exactly. Which I am, unabashedly, unapologetically. So I find it pretty entertaining.
It is interesting. I mean, without going into it too much, it looks like it. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of research into what actually took place and what all sides of the argument are, because I'm an outsider. I never even looked at Gamergate until last week, and it seems like there's actually 3 core issues that are going on in Gamergate that have nothing to do with each other, but are all part of the same thing. You could say Gamergate is one thing, and then there's 2 other arguments that have nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then you can take each of those individually, and they have nothing to do with the other thing. So it's an interesting, I guess, clusterfuck.
It definitely is that. It definitely is that. I don't think anyone would disagree that it is definitely a clusterfuck. So, anyways, this actually ethics thing it basically collects. It's a meme about dropping in, but actually it's about ethics in games journalism. When in various other images and scenes from movies and books and all this sorts of stuff, and it's I think it's pretty funny. So, and obviously from games as well. So, I saw it a few days ago, and I was looking through it, and having a kind of laugh, and I decided to make one based on Oregon Trail.
Is that you?
Yeah, that was me. That was mine.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
So it's it says, it's got the picture of the wagon, right, from when you die, and it says, "You have died of ethics in games journalism." And it ended up being I think it's one of the most popular ones on the site.
It's pretty good. I have to say. I don't even agree with the message, and I think it's hilarious.
So it's last time I checked, it had over 1,500 notes on it.
Wow.
And and so John Scalzi, do you know who John Scalzi is? He's on Twitter. He's just at Scalzi, Scalzi. He's an author, and he does
Get
a
out
bunch
of
of
here
other
with
stuff.
that Zed.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Did you cut out?
So, anyways, what's that?
Yeah, it was cutting off a little bit.
You kind of cut
anyways,
out for a minute, Carl.
He saw that and he tweeted it out and he said that was his favorite one. And that tweet, he's got like 78,000 Twitter followers or something.
Oh boy.
That tweet went kind of viral too. It has over like 700 retweets on it last time I looked.
You're Twitter famous now.
Well, kind of, except that no one knew it was me until after that. So I didn't even realize this stuff, right? The funny thing is my sister actually texted that picture to me without knowing that I made it. Like, she saw it, and like we share a very similar kind of sense of humor that is largely based in internet stupidity. And so she saw that, she tweeted or she texted it to me, and I was like, "That is so funny! I actually made that one." And so she linked me to John Scalzi's tweet about it, and there was a whole bunch of people in the conversation underneath that tweet saying, "Man, I wish this was on a shirt." So I thought, I was kind of kicking it around in my head a little bit, like, I want to make a shirt about this. So I went on Teespring and like I cleaned up the artwork in Illustrator so it's nice and sharp, and went on Teespring and put it up there, and went and tweeted it out again. And he, like, I've been kind of promoting it on Twitter a bit here and there, and he retweeted me, like, when was this? This was like this morning. And so anyways, the way Teespring works is that you have to get, it's kind of like a crowdfunding thing, where you're basically taking pre-orders on a shirt that doesn't exist, and if you can get enough of them, then they will print the shirt and mail it out to everybody. And if you don't get enough pre-orders, then they don't charge anybody's credit card, and it just goes away. But so I set it up with a goal of 50 shirts, and
Yeah, I saw you got 35 last time I checked.
you know how many I got now?
Yeah, you hit the goal.
I think I got, let me see. I checked it just before we started the podcast. I have 99 sold.
Wow.
Good job.
So, yeah, my goal was 50.
Now, get to the best part of this, though.
So, I got over, I set it for my goal of 50, and so he retweeted me the one time this morning, and I got like 30 retweets from that. And then he tweeted it out again this evening, and it's got like over 150 retweets the last time I checked that. So it's going crazy, like, basically. And I posted it in the Stop Gamergate 2014 hashtag a few times. And so it's basically going nuts. And I decided that since Gamergate is such like it's basically started and caused a lot of pain for a lot of people in the industry, that I didn't really want to make money off of it. So I decided I was gonna donate all the profits from the T-shirt to a charity or a good cause of some kind. And so we ended up picking Women in Games International. And so as of this recording, we are over like $500 raised. So it's pretty nuts. And this has all happened in like 2 days. Like he first tweeted that, and my sister texted me yesterday afternoon, and I made the shirt in like half an hour, which is awesome actually. If you guys want to make a shirt, Teespring is friggin' quick as anything. And so yeah, like half an hour, then I was tweeting it out. We already had like 35 or something last night. And
Yeah, I think that's when I checked.
yeah, so we weren't doing too badly like right away there, and then today with the extra tweets and retweets that we've been getting, it's just been going crazy. And like it's still gonna run for 3 more weeks. So I have no idea how it's gonna get up there. Like I don't want to spam too bad. I'll probably dial it back a little and like maybe only tweet like maybe once a day or maybe once every 2 days or something like that. But yeah, it's crazy. Like I wonder how crazy it's gonna get. But it's cool too. It makes me feel really good that it's gonna raise all this money to fight misogyny in the games industry. So it's good. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So yes, tons of retweets. More retweets than I've ever seen in my life in the last couple of days. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I've been working on. Anyways, so yeah, should we move on to our other topics now?
Sure.
Cool. So first up on the list.
I think we should change the order. Let's do the second one first, just so we make sure we have enough time to cover it.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay.
So, Colleen passed along, we got a request from one of our listeners. We actually have listeners, guys. Can you believe that?
Nobody watches.
So, a request from Fabio. He was asking, what are your specialties and what tools do you use? So, who wants to kick that off?
I think you're talking specifically about game development, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, specifically game dev. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Well, I don't have a experience in any programming language but C++, so there you go for programming. I like Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2005, so I'm sure that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Better. I extremely like Photoshop. It's one of my most used tools, and Wacom. Like you need a Wacom.
Oh yes.
I got a little tiny bamboo. I never use it.
Mine is actually I think 8 years old.
I think I have the exact same one that you do by the looks of the 5 sec or half a second that you put it up in front of the screen. But yeah, Intuos 3, like that one's like, what is it, 6x8 or something like that?
Did you see the model number or something? How'd you know all that?
Because it's a Wacom and I'm a nerd. Come on. They look slightly different. Like the Intuos, they kind of similar to like Apple products. They like slightly change the look of them every time they upgrade to a new series. So it's a little easier to tell than having to look at a serial number, thankfully.
I also want to say that GIFCam is amazing. If you need GIFs for your games, definitely check that out. It's really awesome. It's easy. It just makes GIFs like right when you record.
Okay.
I'm gonna. One thing I noticed. Sorry, I'm sorry to derail, but we had a bunch of things that we mentioned last week on the podcast, and I was like, oh, I'll put that in the show notes, and then I totally forgot what we were talking about. So I'm gonna just put them in the chat here, our group chat, and so don't pay no attention to me like typing things in there. It's just a little note for my own use.
Okay.
And also another derailing topic. There was a couple people who wanted to be guests on our podcast, and they had written on a video that I tweeted, and I deleted it.
Nice.
And so I don't know who it is. And I actually tracked one guy down, and I told him, I asked him if he wanted to be on the podcast, and I'll look at the schedule. And I guess tons of notifications later, I try finding it, and it's buried. I tried finding it, I tried getting my archives, and I just can't find him. So, if you are listening and you had put that you wanted to be a guest on our podcast, please tweet me again, and I will make sure that I get you guys.
Right on.
So before we get back on topic, I need to derail one more time. Every week, Colleen, that clock gets farther and farther behind it. 50 minutes behind.
That's an hour.
Well, I have 1010, so yeah, it's almost an hour. But what is?
But
It's
wait,
10:11 on here, and it's 9:21.
isn't the time change going to happen though on like Monday or something or Sunday night?
Sunday, yeah.
So it'll go from being 50 minutes behind to like 10 minutes ahead.
Is that the plan, Colleen? Colleen doesn't deserve daylight savings.
Yeah.
An old
She's
clock.
really
My mom
excited
gave me
about
it
it.
for Christmas.
But what's the point of even having it? It doesn't even have anywhere near the right time. I could maybe have like 5 or 10 minutes off, but an
I just
hour.
figured it out. I don't know.
It's just for a healthy red glow in the room.
What's really bad is it probably automatically sets itself for daylight saving, so it'll still be an hour off.
It does.
It does. Wow.
That's why it's like this. So I'm just waiting until the real daylight savings time.
Yeah.
Nice. And then you won't have to press the button as many times to set it or something.
But what I don't understand is like a week or two ago, I mentioned that before, and it was only like 15 minutes off.
Oh, it's
Now
really bad.
like an hour off almost.
Well, yeah, because it did say it did daylight savings time from like 2008 or something.
Sweet. Oh man.
Okay, back on topic. Sorry, just had to.
All right. So, Justin, what are your specialties and what tools do you use? Unless Colleen had more, I don't know if she was done.
I can't remember now. It's too derailed.
Sorry.
I think that's it though.
All right, cool.
So for me, I think just very, very, very much so Unity. Unity. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're into games development, it's pretty. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find someone that develops games that at least hasn't heard of Unity, let alone has tried it out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for it. It really is amazing. Sure, there might be very, very specific things that it may not specifically include out of the box, but as a general purpose tool, it's amazing. I love everything about it. So, but other than Unity, I'm definitely just a programmer, but sometimes I have to do program art, so I use Paint.net. I don't have Photoshop, so yeah. But that's really one of my biggest tools that I use outside of Unity for game development. I do all of my programming and stuff within Sublime Text. I don't really use an IDE. If I am not like programming outside of Unity, like if I'm doing something in C++, then yeah, I'll use Visual Studio. But I also have Visual Studio. What is it?
2010.
Ultimate 2013. I have a BizSpark account thingy, so I got it for free.
Oh, right on.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like I think this one sells for like $14,000. So.
Whoa!
Yeah, ultimate version of Visual Studio is insanely expensive.
Ridiculous.
Man, I thought Adobe had it figured out with expensive software, but apparently they're not on Microsoft when it comes to
I don't know anyone personally that has ever bought Visual Studio Ultimate. Like probably businesses, but like just like on a personal level, I don't think anyone ever has because I think 2010 just because it's so expensive.
No, I mean like what's the big deal about getting it? I mean, I can do stuff in Express just fine without problems, but
Have you ever tried Ultimate?
no.
Yeah.
it massages your feet while you code.
Yeah.
Send someone over to your house in a helicopter with a coffee now and then.
Yeah, no kidding. For 14 grand, like I better get some sort of concierge out of this.
Again, I didn't pay that. That's just I'm gonna have to look that up when someone else is talking the actual cost, so I'm not misquoted. But it's something.
You got all the foot massages and helicopters for free.
Yeah. But so yeah, if I'm using C++ or C# outside of Unity, that's what I'll use. Let me think. What else do I use? That's really Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not really a tool, but GitHub for version control. GitHub's amazing. If you don't use version
If you're
control,
making games and you're not using version control, you're an idiot.
no, if you don't have some kind of version control, then you're playing a very dangerous game. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I've had code lost because of that, and I won't ever make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Learn
Here's a question for you,
seriously.
actually, is I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to version control. I have my stuff on Bitbucket, and I do have Git, but how do you do you just do git ignores for all your assets and stuff? Because
Yeah, GitHub actually. Are you using Unity?
yes.
Yeah, GitHub has a pre-made git ignore for Unity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
use
any
GitHub,
project
actually. I use
files.
Bitbucket, but I'm sure that would probably work just as fine.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if the syntax is the same. It's probably identical.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
actually
surprised if it
runs-
was different.
It runs Git.
Cool. I'm going to check that out.
I use Git pretty religiously. I use it for code reviews. I use it for bug reporting. I use it for everything. It's super sleek. For coding, I use Notepad, and for photos, I use Paint, and that's pretty much it.
Paint?
I was like, am I going to
Nice.
slide this through? No, I use Photoshop and Sublime Text. I'm like, nobody's laughing. That was kind of funny.
Oh, man.
No,
I was thinking,
I saw
I was
that
just
Wither drawing earlier, so.
I don't know. I was waiting for the inevitable, Sean's working on a Rage comic game or something.
I actually use a netbook, and
I actually did just buy a Raspberry Pi, so.
Sweet. I code all my games on 286.
Nice.
Actually, you know what is funny is we've been over how I have a bunch of Apple IIs.
Yes.
Playing with Apple IIs, I always think man, I should make a
Hipster.
game for this. I should make a game, and then I think to myself 5 seconds after that, who would play it? How could I possibly?
Hey, you know what? That can be a selling point for when you're trying to give these Apple IIs away. You can be like, hey, it comes with a game I made.
Those are the sweet
Oh my
that I
God.
built in BASIC.
I learned assembly today.
Anyways, so I haven't wasted any time trying to make games for the Apple II. But yeah,
God.
anyways.
You actually put Notepad and Paint in that list.
I wasn't thinking. So,
Wow.
Sean's elite Hacksaws programmer.
Yeah.
Braille paint, right?
He codes in Paint.
and actually I was kind of wondering if maybe when you said Notepad, you meant Notepad++, because some people do use that, but
I actually, when I first started learning to program, I was doing HTML, way back when, and I did use Notepad and Paint to make some of my first websites.
oh yeah, I used to use Notepad for coding HTML too, though, but I never used Paint because Paint is ugly.
You make do with what you have, and that's what I had. Hey,
I don't know, I still use
This was back
Notepad.
when John was in school.
I was in high school.
Oh, you were in high school?
Yep. Well, no, 8th grade.
I think I had pirated versions of Photoshop in high school.
Does anyone
Probably.
actually not have a pirated version? I mean, I don't, because I
I
don't have
pay
any
a
version.
sub
But
to Photoshop. Like, I use Photoshop so much that I actually pay the $20 sub for it.
Yeah, it's handy for sure. Any other tools? Shall I have a crack at it?
there are lots, but
Not for game dev. I mostly do web dev stuff. I mean, sometimes I'll do games in HTML5, like JavaScript stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I use Sublime Text for that as well.
Yeah. And I mean, once you have your sort of environment set up like that, you don't want to change it all that much just to do something that's a little bit different, right? If you can get away with it.
Actually, I will say one thing. If you're doing anything on the web, just use Google Chrome. Use that as your baseline. don't use Firefox.
You're such a Firefox hater.
Ever.
No, it's,
I have
I don't think
Firefox.
that it's we because we do web stuff for a living, and we're noticing more and more often that Firefox is kind of becoming what IE used to be.
No, what IE6 used to be.
Yeah, like I don't think it's that bad yet, but they're like
It's getting
it's
there.
becoming way too common. All the different issues that crop up where we're doing something that is by standards, and Firefox is not handling it. It's like at least a lot of things with IE, it would handle it just in an unexpected way, but it's getting to the point where Firefox just like throws errors. Like it's not even attempting to handle it.
Off the deep end.
Well, I have noticed it's a little bit when I'm doing web dev stuff that it's a little different in Firefox between Chrome. Obviously, I tested everything, but I haven't noticed anything too bad.
Just in Netscape.
Yeah, I test in links. Anyway.
Also, have you guys used? I can't remember the name offhand for some reason, but Blitz something, the Microsoft indie dev club kind of thing, where you sign up and you get Microsoft programs for free.
Oh, BizSpark.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's how I got Visual Studio 2013 Ultimate.
I have heard of BizSpark, yes.
Yep, it's an amazing deal. They do all kinds of stuff like if you use a lot of Microsoft crap, which I don't. I literally only got it for Visual Studio, but there are a lot of other benefits up to and including free space like up in their what's their cloud service called?
Azure.
Yeah, Azure.
Ugh.
Yeah. So like free like hosting up in there for up to a certain amount of stuff, and it's a really good deal, especially if you're really into doing a lot of Microsoft oriented stuff, which I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah, I would try it.
Yeah, definitely try it. I mean, if for nothing else other than the Visual Studio, that alone makes it worth it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, cool. So in terms of my tools, what I use, like I've said before, my specialty is more from an art side, design. So I came from using Photoshop like crazy. Like I've been using Photoshop for, well, like I said, since high school. So over a decade now I've been using Photoshop. And all the other Adobe products as well. Although I kind of have a love-hate relationship with most of them, except for Photoshop. I still like Photoshop, but everything else is kind of like I use Illustrator a lot too when I need to do logos and vector work. But Illustrator is capable, but it likes to crash at random times and have weird bugs. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship there.
You can do vector work in Photoshop too, though.
Oh yeah. But if it's something that's like straight up vector work, I have this like, I'd rather do it in Illustrator, and then like if I need
That's what Illustrator was designed for.
yeah. It seems weird to do a fully vector thing in Photoshop, you know?
Can you even? Oh, well, I guess Shape Tool or something, Polygon Tool.
Yeah. Like Photoshop Photoshop's very capable, and if you only had it, like I'm sure you could make do. I have Creative Cloud, so I just have whatever.
You use the right tool for the right job.
Yeah, exactly. And then if I need to do things like for the Archaea logo, I did the vector work in Illustrator, and I have a pure vector file of just the shapes, and then I brought it into Photoshop to add texture and layer styles and stuff to it to kind of finish it off. So, yeah, I just switch back and forth as I need to. I kind of am playing around with the idea of moving away from Creative Suite products, like just here and there. When I started my project, I was working on my PC laptop that had Windows 7, and I don't have a copy of Creative Suite for that, so I was using GIMP, just trying it out, seeing how far it's come since the last time I tried it. And it's not bad, actually. Like, it definitely takes some getting used to. And there is a tutorial out there on like moving to GIMP from Photoshop, specifically for people that are used to Photoshop.
Have you used Corel Painter?
A little bit here and there. I
I
haven't
actually have an
really.
old version of that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they may make it now, but I used to love that program.
It's kind of expensive, so I haven't really been able to sink my teeth into that. But I know a lot of people that really get into doing like pro concept art and stuff. Lots of them use Photoshop, and lots of them use Painter. Yeah, GIMP is definitely workable. Like I said, it is a bit of a paradigm shift from Photoshop. You kind of have to wrap your head around how it's different, but there are ways. And like I said, I use Unity as well. I think Unity it's the most capable and yet most accessible. Like, it's a perfect intersection of those two things. Like, I'm not a great programmer, but I find Unity to be very easy to use. So.
You know what? I can't wait to use Unreal Engine so I can bomb you.
You're so hipster.
Like be your adversary.
Stop
Nice.
being a hipster. Colin.
I don't think Unreal Engine's not a hipster thing. If she was more hipster before when she was coding her own engine out of C++.
No, why didn't you
But,
stick with that, actually? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, me and Sean have definitely been down that route.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
So-
freaking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
waiting
think
on my
Unreal,
6 gigs of RAM. Since I got 2 of them, I can't use Unreal Engine yet.
I forgot. Are you using OpenGL or DirectX, Colleen, or something else? Like,
No, I'm just using DirectX.
oh, okay.
So yeah.
I've always,
yeah. So I
always
think
used OpenGL.
technically Unreal Engine is a bit more powerful than Unity, but Unity is still quite capable, and it's a lot easier to use, I think. So if you can use Unreal Engine 4, I say have at her.
I'm just joking. But
It's all right.
yeah, I can't wait to try it though. But
Well,
I'll let you know if it's easy. I use
exactly.
Unity for probably 5 minutes total. So I can't
You're,
really say much.
you're missing out. It is using Unity is a treat. It's like I spent 3 weeks of off time trying to figure out, because this is back when I was learning C++. I was trying to figure out how to get an image to render on an object in OpenGL, and I'm just like, ugh. 3 weeks I spent doing that, and then I pop into Unity, and it's just like,
Seconds.
Yeah, you're doing like a minute.
I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. It's something to be said for having all that shit figured out ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I use Unity. I do my modeling in Blender because it's free.
Oh,
and it's
how could I
capable.
forget Blender? Oh my God, Blender,
I
yes.
totally forgot to try that out last week.
Oh yes. If you do 3D modeling and you don't use Blender, hopefully you have something that is paid and better, because you're missing out otherwise.
Yeah.
In
I
terms of
think,
free
like,
3D modeling, it's amazing.
Yeah, as far as I know, like maybe some very technical ways, it's different, but for the most part, it can do everything else that the other programs can do, but it's free. It's not quite as easy to use, maybe, or as slick in terms of interface, but it actually has come a long way, even in that regard. So
I think some of the automated stuff in the paid ones is a little bit better.
Right.
But I mean, again, they're you have to pay for those other ones, and Blender's free. And I don't know how much they cost, but I think they're like several $100s, right, for like 3ds Max and like.
Oh,
yeah, if not more than that, like thousands.
Oh, is it up the? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
and
think it
Blender's
can be.
completely free, and it's not like, oh, here's like a trial version and then pay to upgrade it. It's just the full thing, completely free.
Open
So-
source. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, so Blender's totally awesome. And then yeah, now that I'm back doing all my dev on my MacBook, I am using Photoshop for my texturing and any other image creation needs I might have. For coding, I use Text Wrangler because I'm too cheap to get Sublime Text. And yeah, like I was
WinRAR
saying.
free.
Hmm?
It's WinRAR free. It is.
Is it really?
I don't mind. Yeah, you download it, and after the quote-unquote trial period, then every random amount of saves, like 20, 30, 50 saves, it just pops up saying, hey, do you want to buy it yet? And you say yes or no. If you say yes, it goes to the buy page. If you say no, then you just keep going on.
Like Winamp.
Crazy. I did not know that. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
WinRAR?
No, I love it so much. I highly recommend that you buy it if you can afford it. I mean, obviously, as long as you use it and you enjoy it. But yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing too is that really, if you're going to be using it a lot and it's worth it for your productivity, then it's worth it to spend the money on it. Really. So
I think it's cheap too.
Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot and see how it goes. I wanted to point out that Arthur G in our chat mentioned SketchUp as a decent solution. I wouldn't recommend it if you have a bit of 3D modeling experience. If you wanna, I would go Blender first. But if you've never done anything 3D before ever, SketchUp is maybe a good way to kind of familiarize yourself with the concepts and like what's happening. It's a little bit simpler, a little bit easier, but it's definitely not as flexible, and the number of tools are far reduced over something like Blender.
I've seen concept artists use SketchUp to plan shadows.
Yes.
They'll build a semi-decent little mock-up of their scene, and then they'll kind of copy the shadows in their illustrations.
Yes, that actually is a good point. I've seen that as well. They kind of cheat on things like perspective and shadows, yeah, like you say, in SketchUp. Although you could do that in Blender too if you know how to use it.
Sure.
Possibly even better, but yeah, that's another really awesome way to do it. And maybe if you are more of an artist and you're not looking to get into 3D so much, you just want something to help you with concept art or matte painting, yeah, SketchUp is a good tool for that for sure. I'm just trying to think if I've forgotten anything. One thing I wanted to mention was what was it now? Oh, I was thinking that, like I was saying a little bit ago, that I'm trying to experiment with getting away from Adobe products just because they're expensive and they just get more and more bloated as the years go on. And for the longest time, there was never really any alternatives. Like, it was basically Adobe or Corel Draw, and Corel Draw sucks. So.
No, it does. Okay. Back in the day, back in 2000.
Their one and only fan.
I liked it better than Illustrator.
So anyways, if you're on a Mac, now I'm going to mention these programs. I haven't actually used them personally, so
ignore what he's about to say.
Take with a grain of salt, but I am planning on checking them out in the near future, and they're worth at least looking at. Is instead of Photoshop, Pixelmator. Pixelmator is on the Mac App Store.
Pixelmator
3. It looks really slick. Anytime I've looked at it, I really have been meaning to try it out. I think it's like $50, so it's a lot cheaper than Photoshop. It's like
look at that.
2.5 months of Adobe Creative Cloud, and you'll own this software outright. So yeah, I check that out if you're looking for a Photoshop alternative and you can't really drop the money on it, and you have a Mac. The other one I wanted to mention was Sketch. Sketch is another program that's sort of like a Illustrator competitor. So it's another Mac app on the Mac App Store for doing vector artwork. And I've heard very good things about that, although again I haven't used it myself, but I'm definitely planning on checking it out in the near future here. So, and again, significantly cheaper than Illustrator. So if you have a Mac and you want to give those a shot, have at her, and yeah, let us know what you think. I think that's about it.
I was actually going to also say Manga Studio. Probably a lot of people have never used that, but especially you have?
I have all these art programs, and I'm not an artist. I have a Wacom Bamboo. I have a Manga Studio. I have CorelDRAW. I don't understand. I have these like art theory books and everything. Also, like, it's ridiculous. I have books on Maya, on 3ds Max. I have all this stuff. I think it's because, like, I'm a decent programmer. I'm horrible with art, so in the early days when I was making games and stuff, that was always like an area I was lacking. So I was like, I need to learn how to do it. So that's what I did, and it failed.
Well, you can always watch my tutorials when I get more than 2 gigs of RAM.
It's one of those things, like, it's not that you can't teach that. Like, obviously there's with artists there's some sort of mixture of talent and practice, and practice is the biggest part of it, really.
Hi, Nathan.
If you hi, Nathan. If you get into if you're into the art stuff, I don't know if you guys have seen conceptart.org. The forums there. Basically, a lot of people that are into art. Not all of them are trying to get into concept art specifically, but a lot of them are. And there's a sketchbook section on their forum that is filled with crazy stuff. Where basically you just go and you start a thread for yourself as your sketchbook, and you just keep posting stuff. And there's a few of them that are just like kind of famous on the site for being people that just worked so hard over a period of years that they have made huge gains in skill. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, one of them is Mind Candy Man. I'll see if I can find that.
Mind Candy Man.
And link it in the show notes. But he started posting, like, in his sketchbook, like, still life drawings of cubes and cylinders and spheres and stuff that were, just really amateur. And he just worked his ass off for like 3 years. His sketchbook goes for 3 years, and it's probably still going. In fact, it's probably more like 4 years or 5 years now. And he, after about 3 years there, he was just insanely good, like super talented, definitely like professional level. He could go work at a AAA studio doing concept art, like just insane amounts of skill. And so if you don't have any natural artistic talent, it's possible to learn it through practice, but it takes a lot of work.
I believe that.
Oh, it's true. It's true. I had some amount of artistic talent, and I definitely improved when I practiced a lot in college. But, I should be practicing more. But I'm making games. But, whatever. I still sketch and stuff, but... yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, okay. Should we move on to our next topic?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do too many people take advantage of Kickstarter? Does that ruin it for honest devs?
Speaking of ethics.
I think so. Especially like people like, I know it was just an experiment, but potato salad, that kind of stuff just makes it more of a joke.
Way to hit you right in the heart, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at all of these honest people trying to do something honest and make something, and then potato salad comes along and just punches them right in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm of two minds on this subject. I think, obviously, things like potato salad, it's just so dumb. Like, no one could have predicted that. And it's like, I think occasionally something like that's going to happen as Kickstarter goes on, like maybe once a year or so, some weird thing's going to go viral randomly and make a ton of money for no friggin' reason. But I think that there's the main thing with a Kickstarter is still like the actual product that you're trying to push, right? But at the same time, so like obviously you have to have a decent product. But at the same time, now that Kickstarter is so big and so busy that you're running into like this Steam issue where everybody's on Kickstarter, and so how do you stand out in like a sea of thousands of games, right? And a lot of them, a lot of people do put a lot of hard work into them, and so you're just stacked against a bunch of people that are all pouring their heart into it, and it's just a really tough market now.
I think you can run into another issue though, just like even if you do make it through the waves, you'll run into situations where a lot of people don't deliver on what they say they're going to deliver on, or maybe they do it part way, or maybe they just don't at all. And like I can't think of a Kickstarter off the top of my head that I've funded, and I've spent hundreds of dollars on Kickstarter, that has actually come through on what they promised. And that makes me sad, because it makes me not want to give money to other games that I am interested in, because I've gone through it before and I've seen people, I don't want to say like not have integrity, just maybe overshoot, or maybe they just really don't have integrity. I don't know. Too hard to judge. But it really does ruin it for everyone else when you don't deliver on what you say you're going to deliver.
I do think that is a good point. Like, I think it's chilled things. Like, it hasn't totally killed Kickstarter, but it has chilled things. People don't throw their money at stuff anymore, unless like you had a company with a proven track record over decades or something like that. And lots of press behind it anyways. But, like, people don't throw money at stuff, at least in the gaming vertical, like in the indie games, as much as they used to, because of that, because so many people have been bitten, and those stories get pressed too, right, when Kickstarters go down in flames and people get mad and stuff like that. So, they're a little bit more hesitant, right? Like, even if they're interested, they might wait, and or they might go, well, we'll see how this goes, and then who knows, maybe they'll forget or something like that. So it does, like I said, I don't think it's killed the market, but it has definitely chilled things and made it harder anyways. So it's just sucky.
Yeah, and some of those Kickstarters that only ask for like $2,000 or something like that, I don't understand, like, what can you do with $2,000?
Right.
You can't live off that, like maybe to buy a new computer or something, but like maybe I think a lot of those people that have a low Kickstarter, they don't realize how much things cost.
No, I think what it comes down to more often than not is that they think that their idea is going to blow up and like be huge. Because here's the thing: if your Kickstarter is successful, or it looks like it's going to be successful, people are more likely to give money to it. Because people want to, because if you give money to something and it's not successful, like, you're not getting anything, And people want, like, they're going to give money, or if they're considering it, it's because they want what you're, trying to make. And the thing is it's almost a guarantee if you only ask for like a couple $1,000s. As long as you're not producing something that's just complete garbage.
Well, I think Colleen has a very good point there, though, that at least when I see those Kickstarters, I say they don't know what they're doing. Because, like, how do you make a game on $2,000? Like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, all you can really do is, like, I don't know, buy a new computer, or maybe spend it on advertising or something like that. Like, you can't really do much. You can't work on that amount. You can't hire anybody for that amount, really. You just like.
I think people are gonna make that game anyway, and they're just like, eh.
Or they've
Let's see
already
what
made it, / it's about to be done, and they just need a little bit like, hey, we need like, you know, I don't know, this boss or something, you know, designed and everything, so we only need like $3,000 to hire an artist. I don't know. You know, just a crappy example. But I think that sometimes you might see something like that, where it's like you had a passionate team of people that had 95% of the skills required to make the game, and they can't get anyone to fulfill that last little bit.
Yeah.
So they need to actually pay someone.
So like if you look at actual, like, most of your costs in making a game are going to go towards the labor of making that game. Now, if you're hiring developers, imagine that you're going to be paying a professional developer between $60,000 and $80,000 a year.
Right.
I mean, that's not a huge amount of money to ask for a developer. They could.
And plus, you also got to consider like fees and taxes take out
Absolutely.
lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to cover all the rewards and
All the rewards, and like don't work yourself for free. You know, I mean, it's okay to take a cut to make sure that you meet funding goals, but I mean, like, if you're working on a project yourself full time, still include your own costs in that.
You still need a roof over your head and food in your belly.
Yeah, because those are the kinds of things that'll sneak up on you, and you're like, wow, I can't really do this, can I? So, like, just consider those costs before you start deving something like that, because it's a lot more than you think.
Yeah, for sure. To be even a little bit more cynical, I wonder if there's people that like make almost the whole game and they're just about ready to, you know, push it out there and hit send or whatever, hit publish, and they figure maybe they'll do a Kickstarter just for some added press, maybe. And they don't really need the money. They just think, well, do Kickstarter.
I definitely think that happens because I've seen some Kickstarters where the video, like, they're asking for like maybe $10,000 top, and the video like shows basically a full game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe not like a run through of like full game, but like every game mechanic that they say is going to be in the game is shown in the video. Like, you know, it shows all kinds of levels, it shows all kinds of enemies and characters, skills, like whatever the case may be, right? And you're like, this looks complete. The spin side to that is if you have a video and you don't show much, people don't want to give to it. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's like people want to give money to something that looks like it's going to be successful, and to do that, you show something that looks complete, but you can't show something that looks complete until you get the money to actually make it. So it's difficult.
I think knowing how to plan out and develop a minimum viable product is a really
you need a prototype with some decent artwork in it.
Prototype for sure.
Yeah, with your core mechanics. Don't dev out any extra fluff. You know, don't do all your other levels and bosses and enemies. Just do like the bare minimum just to show it off. I think is the best strat to take for that.
That's how
prototype is like a necessity. Like you should not be making a game until you have a prototype. Basically, like that is step number one.
Yeah, it's hard for some people to do, especially with a passion project, though, because it's like, I mean, I've definitely fallen in that trap where it's like I have an idea for a game and I just want to make that game and I want to go gung ho with it. I don't want to sit there and try to plan it out and design it and actually make a minimum like decide what is the minimum viable product, because I feel like whenever me and John have been through that several times, it's like, all right, time to make the minimum viable product, and every time we do that, it's never an issue of what can we put in the minimum viable product. It's always what do we need to take out, and we just keep cutting and cutting, and it's like even though you're going to dev out the full thing eventually, like you have to get that MVP done first, and as you're cutting stuff out, it's like, especially if it's like your idea, it's just like, oh, but I really like that, and oh, but man, this one makes it perfect, and I don't know, it's just
it's always like that.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. My suggestion is that you gotta cut it for now, anyways. Like write it down somewhere save it for later.
Seriously, finishing
And bring that in.
is so much more important.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to make a quick note here. Arthur G in our chat there brought up an interesting other example of a Kickstarter. He says, there's a guy on Twitter who's asking for funding just to cover the legal filing costs to legitimately sell his game, less than $200. His name is ants_and_aphids, and his project is Oregon Biker Game. So that's interesting. Like, personally, I don't,
I feel like that is against the terms of service of Kickstarter, though. Not that I necessarily feel like it's wrong ethically to do, but I feel like that's not the intent of Kickstarter.
Yeah, I guess I'm not familiar enough with the Kickstarter terms of service to really know whether way. I'm kind of surprised. Like, for me, although this is probably some of my privilege speaking, I would just $200 whatever, I would just cover it with my money from my job. But people are in different sort of situations, and maybe that's not an option for him. So in that case, do what you have to do, I think. So it's just an interesting other way of using Kickstarter, I guess. Should we move on?
Sure. I think we're about an hour.
All right. So maybe I'll skip point C. We can come back to that maybe next week or something, and we'll skip right to what we're playing. How about? All right. So I mentioned last week that I didn't really like Warframe, and I promised Sean that I would play at least one more mission and see what I thought, and I still don't like it. I'm sorry. I think the main thing, I'm not a big fan of the looks of it, like the aesthetic, the weird organic ninja suit thing, but the bigger issue for me is the gameplay feels kind of, I don't know. I feel like in terms of like Destiny is far from a perfect game, but control-wise and like the actual physical gameplay experience is super tight, and I get a very different feeling from Warframe, where it kind of feels like I'm bouncing off everything, and I'm not having a great time controlling, and aiming takes a bit too long, and so I'm kind of finding myself standing out in the middle of a friggin' area just trying to aim at some dude that's flying in the air. And I find it the controls are just not really I'm not really into them, so I think I'm gonna delete that one off the old hard drive. Next up off my list is I went on the PlayStation Store today and checked out some of the demos and free-to-play stuff that they have on there. And
Tokyo Jungle?
What's that?
Did you get Tokyo Jungle?
No, what's that?
It's an old game. It's amazing.
Yeah?
Is it a racing game?
No, not at all. It's a post-apocalyptic game where you play as animals.
So is it seriously on there?
I think it was like on the PlayStation 3 though, so it's I don't know if it's on the PlayStation 4. It's older.
Well, I have my PlayStation 3 hooked up still too, anyways, so maybe I'll check that out anyways.
Yeah, I know it was only on PlayStation.
Yeah, we have our PS3 hooked up too. Actually, not ours. So.
I didn't play it, but I've probably watched like 4 hours worth of YouTube videos of Let's Plays of it.
Sweet. So one of the things I found in the free-to-play section that I'm going to give a shot to is Blacklight Retribution. It's called. It's a free-to-play first-person shooter, and so that should be installed by now, and I will give it a shot next time I have a chance and see how that goes. I'm kind of, I have to admit, I'm kind of feeling a bit of desire towards the new Call of Duty game.
Yeah, me and Sean are right there with you, actually.
Wait,
I've been watching gameplay videos. I've been watching gameplay videos, and someone on my Twitter posted a link to MLG live stream of a match that they were playing in Advanced Warfare, and he mentioned how refreshing it was to see multiplayer without grenade and special spam from like Destiny has, which I totally get. Like, I don't know, Destiny is still fun, but there's so many times where you run into a base or something and a Titan rolls up and like supers and just like kills 4 dudes at once and you can't even do anything. So, I'm kind of into that. So, I'm thinking about it, and then to scratch the itch while I wait for Call of Duty to come out, I'm gonna try this Blacklight Retribution and see how that goes.
When is the Call of Duty coming out? It's like really soon, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really soon. November 3rd, and I think if you pre-order it on
Monday, you get 24 hours early if you pre-order it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Days early access.
So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for the reviews. Like I'm so tired of getting ahead of myself with these games and then buying it. Like I don't want to have the ESO effect again. It's just
I've spent hundreds of dollars on games that I played once because either reviews were flat out garbage or I just got hyped up about it and maybe ignored some reviews that may have been legitimate. I feel like a lot of reviews coming from like bigger game press are not as reliable.
I think it's like you kind of got to find the outlets and the people that share the same taste as you. Like it's all so subjective that.
Yeah, but when the vast majority of people and maybe it is just the type of people I talk to, but everybody talks about Call of Duty, but every Call of Duty game gets amazing ratings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well,
I guess I don't even really bother looking at reviews for Call of Duty, because like.
Well, it's not just Call
of
Duty. I mean, I think it's pretty prevalent, but.
Sometimes it's the opposite, though. Sometimes it'll get crappy reviews, but it's actually a really good game.
Yep, that absolutely happens also.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. For things like Call of Duty, games that are big games like that, that my friends are going to buy, I just let them buy it and tell me what it's like. I don't bother reading reviews for huge games like that. Because I trust
I've given up on buying games before they actually come out now. Like pre-ordering and stuff, or buying them on launch day.
Especially since it's the same price now for everything.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to pre-order.
Yeah, and they give you exclusive pre-order bonuses, but it's nothing that is, must-have. It's all just nonsense. So yeah. That's what I have been playing. That's what I'm going to be playing. What have you guys been playing?
Skyrim.
I've been playing Indie Team Up.
I've been playing Rayman Origins again to do some more research. Yeah, I was trying to find like a stormy, cloudy, lightning level, and I finally found it. So I was playing the crap out of that one to look at the art and stuff. So,
right on.
But that's pretty much it.
Cool. Well, I think we're a bit over an hour already, so should we wrap things up then?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for watching and listening.
Yep, happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween. And we really appreciate you guys following Indie Team Up. I wanted to make a note, something I haven't brought up before that I keep forgetting to do, is if you listen to us on iTunes, please leave a review for us. That would really help us out. If you like our show, leave a review, and that would be absolutely fantastic.
If you don't like our show, don't leave a review.
If you don't like our show, go jump into a fiery pit somewhere. Don't actually do that. But, I'm a Canadian. I can't say those sorts of things. I'll be exiled.
I also wanted to say that Crotchety Gamer, he's an awesome person that's helped all of us. He'll be on the show next week as a guest.
And he also wrote he wrote a really awesome article about the core of the indie dev community.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we had several paragraphs in that.
We got featured right up top. Thank you, Crotchety Gamer. Your words were very kind. I recommend the article to our listeners.
Cool. So one final thing before we sign off, and that is I realized I forgot to link my T-shirt thing if anyone's interested in checking it out. If you go to teespring.com/ethics, it's a very short URL. So yeah, teespring.com/ethics, and you'll find it if you're interested in checking that out. So yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next week. If you want to give us feedback for the show, get at us on Twitter, or I guess you could comment under the YouTube video if you're watching. But I am Carl on Twitter, K-A-R-Y-L. Colleen is Spaz Chickens, S-P-A-Z. There's that Z again. Chickens with an S on the end. Justin is Justin35F, and Sean is Mr. Duprey, M-R-D-E-P-R-E-Y. And yeah, Colleen, were you going to say something before I steamrolled you?
I was going to say, again, like I did in the beginning, if there's people listening that had mentioned that you wanted to be a guest and I missed it, I lost some text, some posts, please tweet me again. So,
right on. All right. Well, cool, guys. Again, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Later.
Later.
Bye.